good morning. Welcome to day 2 of Vlogmas. So it's Saturday the 2nd of December here and it's about 9:30 in the morning right now. And I've been up for quite a while already. My daughter got up quite early this morning. She was very excited to find out what Elf had been up to in the night. So we had quite an early rise and then a bit of a relaxed start to the day, but now I'm up and dressed in my clothes and sort of ready to face the day. So I thought I'd come on here and say good morning and catch up on a few bits and bobs. So I thought I would start off first of all with where I left off yesterday on day 1 of Vlogmas. So yesterday, if you watched day 1, I finished off the video just before I headed out to my children's school for the Christmas fair after school. And we had a really nice time at the fair. It was very, very busy as expected. I know they raised lots of money. There were loads of people getting involved. So that was really lovely. And my children came home with quite a few sweet treats that they won on various stalls, but also a couple of other items that I thought were really sweet. So I thought I'd share with you. So the first thing that my daughter won, which is really lovely, is a knitted item actually. And it's this really cute knitted snowman toy. And obviously you'll know that I like knitting toys and that sort of thing myself, so it's really nice to see somebody else's creation. So it's a really cute little snowman with a pink hat and a little bit of sort of pale pink trim around the hat and a little scarf with little pale pink bubbles at the end too. So yeah, it's really cute and lovely that someone's taken the time to knit this for the school fair. There were a few of them actually with different colour hats on as prizes, so I don't know who knitted them, but yeah, they're really lovely and my daughter was really pleased to bring this snowman home. And then they also at the fair had a sort of crafty table with some handmade and some not handmade, sort of different Christmassy items on that you could buy, and my children each found something they liked. So they each found little sort of decoration to hang on their room, the doors of their rooms, which I thought were quite sweet. So here they are. These really cute little hanging decorations. My son chose this little Father Christmas, and my daughter chose this reindeer that's sort of hanging upside down, quite cute, with a little Fair Isle print on its little outfit. And they've got little bells on the bottom, which are quite sweet and quite Christmassy too. So I thought they were really nice. They were really pleased with those. A nice little Christmassy addition to our house. So we had a really nice time at the fair. And I took a little video of my children scooting home in the dusk. And what was quite nice is while we were out at the fair, my husband managed to get up a few Christmas lights outside our house. So I took a little video of those Christmas lights. It's not a big display or anything, just a few little bits, but my children were very excited to get home and see that the Christmas lights, and it was dark enough for them to look quite pretty, all lit up. So I thought I'd put that footage in now, and then I'll come back on again and share what Elf was up to in the night and a few other bits. So yeah, see you in a moment. That little bit of footage there. It felt quite Christmassy actually, scooting back home in the sort of dusk. It was really a nice way to finish the day after the Christmas fair. And so I'll move on now to this morning and Elf, because I'm sure you'll want to know what Elf had been up to in the night. So we came downstairs this morning to find that Elf had really started to settle into his visit here. And I guess like ever when you're visiting somewhere, he decided to go out and do a bit of shopping and get himself some supplies. But when I say shopping, I pretty much mean he'd sort of ransacked our kitchen slightly, and I'll put a picture up. This is what we found this morning. Elf had found my daughter's shopping trolley and he'd filled it with all the things he had on his shopping list. So he'd also found a little shopping list that comes from one of the games my children have. Obviously it tickled his fancy because he'd got everything on the list and popped in his trolley. So I'll show it all close up there. You can see he'd got washing powder, sausages, tomatoes, baked beans, yogurt, all the things you might need if you're staying somewhere. So it took a bit of time to tidy up after him this morning with all the bits and bobs he'd taken out of the kitchen. He'd obviously had a good rummage in the cupboards. But yeah, my daughter didn't need to make him breakfast this morning because obviously he'd made himself quite at home anyway. So that was what Elf was up to. And then in terms of what I'm wearing today, well, it's another very chilly day here today. I'm looking out the window and it looks very frosty and a grey sky out there. It almost looks like the sort of sky that you feel like it might snow, but I don't think we are due any snow, but it looks like a very heavy grey sky. So I've got on a nice cosy jumper and a pair of jeans. And this jumper is a bit of a mashup of a couple of different patterns, although it started off as just one pattern and then I adapted it. So I originally made this jumper using this pattern here, which is a pattern I haven't made for a long time actually. It is the Linden sweatshirt by Grainline Studio. So it's quite a nice basic raglan sleeve sweatshirt pattern, or you can make it as a sort of t-shirt as well. And I made it a couple of times when I was quite new to sewing, but then I think I discovered other sweatshirt patterns I prefer. I think it's something about how the raglan sleeve sits on me. I feel like, I don't know, I just maybe prefer a dropped shoulder type sweatshirt sleeve instead, but it's a really nice pattern and it comes together really nicely. So I originally made this as the Grainline Studio Linden, and I made it in this lovely loop back French terry fabric, and I remember I got this a long time ago from First for Fabrics, and I quite like this sort of the grey on grey leopard print fabric. And then I added on little black cuffs and a black bottom band and a black neckband just for a bit of contrast and a bit of fun, sort of jazz up the fabric a little bit, I guess. But when I made the Linden, the neckband really stretched out, and I don't know why, because when I made my other Lindens it didn't stretch out, but this one just something went wrong and the neckband ended up just stretched out and not looking great. But I like the fabric and I wanted to have a go of sort of salvaging the sweatshirt, so I decided to make a few changes to it. So I first of all decided to sort of change the fit of it slightly, and I made it a little bit more close fitting on the body, and I took off the black band on the bottom and instead I replaced it with like a wider hemband. I think I might have borrowed it from the toaster sweater, a bit like the toaster sweater I was wearing yesterday. I'll stand up a bit so you can see. So it's got quite a wide bottom band on now, just in the actual fabric. And then for neckband, I unpicked the neckband and added on this cowl neck. And I borrowed this cowl neck from a pattern in this book here, the Stretch Book by Tilly and the Buttons, the Freya top and dress pattern, which has an optional or like an alternative neckline finish, which is this cowl neck. And actually I really love how it's turned out. It was quite easy to sort of put the two patterns together with the neckline, because I think with the stretch fabric I could just kind of stretch them to fit each other quite well around the neck. And it's actually turned into a really nice cozy sweatshirt. It's almost like a sweatshirt with a scarf built in. And this French terry is like a slightly thicker French terry. It's not like a really lightweight one, so it makes for quite a cozy sweatshirt. And I quite like how I've kept on the little black cuffs because I think it adds a little interest to it. So it's keeping me nice and cozy this morning, this sweatshirt. I've just got it on with a pair of old ready-to-wear jeans. And I wanted to wear jeans and a sweatshirt today because later today, this afternoon, we're going out. And we're going to be going to our local church because my son's scout group is going to be meeting there and doing some sort of work in the churchyard. I think clearing paths and maybe doing some weeding. Well, it might be a bit too icy and hard on the ground for weeding, but they're generally going to be going down there and doing some tasks to kind of help keep the churchyard well maintained. They've done it a couple of times this autumn, and we couldn't make the last one because we had another commitment. So it's really nice to be able to go along today. So all four of us are going to go along, my husband, myself, my son and daughter. So that is the plan for later. But I thought it would be nice to have a cosy sweatshirt on and a nice practical pair of jeans to be able to get helping in the churchyard a little bit later. So yeah, that's planned for a bit later. So that this outfit will work well. Oh, and I'll put a picture up so you can see what it looks like on. I've got on with my pair of slippers. I definitely keep my slippers on today while it's so cold while I'm inside. So that is what I'm wearing today. Then the next thing I wanted to share is a make that I haven't shared on here yet, just because I haven't done a makes video or a catch-up video very recently. So I've got a few things to share. And this is a dress that I think I talked about sewing and have now finished. So yeah, I thought I'd share the final dress. So it's a dress I made using or hacking this pattern here, which is the Bowery top pattern by French Navy. Yeah, you'll know if you've watched my channel for a while, I really love French Navy patterns. And the Bowery top's a really nice one. It's this sort of woven top that's kind of a relaxed fit with a button down back, and it's got sort of grown on sleeves with a cuff and this sort of dipped hem at the front and back. And you can add on a patch pocket too. And it comes together really nicely. But actually, I've only made a sort of wearable toile version of the top. What I've enjoyed doing a couple of times is hacking the top to turn it into a dress. And that is what I did for my latest make. So I'll grab the dress and show you it. So here is my new Bowery dress. So as you can see, I've kind of used the sort of top of the Bowery top. It's got the cuffs. It's got a nice bias bound neckline. I just use the same fabric. I like how check fabric ends up sort of diamond shapes on the binding. So it's got that front bit. I didn't add the patch pockets. And at the back, I've got the buttons. I went for these. Well, the fabric is like a very dark navy blue, but I think it almost looks black. So I went for black buttons, which I think work quite well. I had some navy buttons, but they're a bit of a brighter navy. And I thought the black worked better. So I got the black buttons and went for sort of little sort of button holes there. They're sort of darker threads, so you can see those too. And then I added on a gathered skirt. So I sort of cropped off the Bowery top and made it all straight rather than the curved hem, and added on a gathered skirt. And I think I added in pockets too. I did add in pockets again using the same fabric. So yeah, this is my sort of one of my newer makes actually, and I really love it. I made it in this check fabric. It is a 1/8 of an inch check fabric. It came from Minerva. I was gifted this fabric in exchange for a blog post, which is up on the Minerva website now. And it's got all the details of the fabric and also my hack and everything. So I'll link that blog post down below in case you fancy having a read. I think this fabric came in a few different colours. But it's a really nice, it's 100% cotton fabric. And it's quite a nice weight to it. It's not like super lightweight like a cotton lawn. It's a bit more substantial. So it works quite well, I think, for a dress that I hopefully will be able to wear all through the seasons. So yeah, I'll pop a picture up of me wearing it so you can see what it looks like on. It's got kind of a relaxed fit to it. I wouldn't say it's oversized, but I can sort of pull it on over my head without having to open up any of the buttons. So the buttons are real buttons. You can undo them. Just do one to demonstrate, but you don't actually have to undo them. So it is one I just pull on. And actually what I thought I'd also share is, I thought this dress would work well through the seasons. I thought it'd be quite nice as like a summery dress with a pair of sandals just on its own. But I thought it'd also be nice for layering over winter. So on Instagram, I did a little post showing how I'd styled this dress for 3 different seasons, and I'll pop it up here. So I've styled it, as you can see, for summer with some red sandals for a pop of colour. Then I've styled it for sort of that sort of transitional weather, like spring or autumn weather, with a knitted jumper that I knitted a couple of years ago, and just some trainers. And I've styled it for wintry cosy weather like I would right now, by putting underneath it a sort of Freya top and teaming it with some nice cosy tights and boots. So I'm really pleased with this Bowery dress hack. It's my second one, and I think in this kind of very dark navy colour, I think it will really work well, yeah, through all the seasons. So I'm looking forward to getting lots of wear out of it. It's a really nice, comfy one to wear. So I thought I'd share that. So I think I'll head off now and get on with a few bits around the house this morning. My children have got some homework they need to get done and that sort of thing. And then I'm going to try and get some footage of us heading up to church and doing a bit of the helping at the churchyard a bit later. It's our local church that we go to ourselves. It's really nice to be helping out in the grounds there. So yeah, I'll try and put some footage in of that. Next, I'll leave you with that, and then I'll catch up with you a little bit later today. So see you a little bit later. Bye. churchyard now, and it was a very chilly day out there, so I'm really glad we wrapped up nice and warm. But we had a really good time and got lots done, and I guess we kept warm because we were busy moving the whole time, clearing the leaves and raking down the wood chip and all that sort of thing. And there was a really good group of scouts there. Everyone was getting really stuck in, and even my daughter got really stuck in, as you'll have seen from the video. She wasn't sure how much she wanted to get involved, but she really enjoyed it actually, so that was really nice to see as well. So it was a really nice afternoon, but I think we're all glad to be back home now and warming up. So at the moment, my husband and my children are in the other room. They're having a bit of a rest together, playing a video game together. So I thought I'd come in here and catch up with you guys. And the first thing that I wanted to talk about was just to say thank you so much to everyone who's commented on my day one of Vlogmas video from yesterday with advice on inserting a zip into stretch fabric. So if you saw my yesterday's video, you'll know I'm planning on inserting a zip into that fabric there. I'm just sitting up there, which is stretch fabric. And lots of people commented and said that yes, like I was thinking, interfacing the fabric could be a good idea to stop it stretching. People also recommended stay stitching the fabric and also hand basting the zip in before machine sewing it. So I really appreciate everyone who commented on that. Yeah, it's made me feel a lot more comfortable about the idea of tackling the zip sewing on stretch fabric after having had not a great experience a few years ago, and I'd been a bit nervous about trying it again. So yeah, I really appreciate everyone who commented on that. And the next thing I wanted to talk about was, you'll have seen in that montage, my husband and I were both wearing knitted hats when we went out this afternoon, and I thought I'd share those patterns in case you're interested. So my husband's hat, I've got it here. I made it for him a couple of years ago. It's quite a nice, simple beanie hat, and I made it using a free pattern that I downloaded from Lovecrafts, which I'll link down below. And it's this pattern here. It's called the Caron Men's Basic Hat and Scarf Set. So yeah, the pattern includes this hat that I made for my husband and the scarf. I haven't made him a scarf, he doesn't often wear a scarf, but yeah, it's a really nice pattern. It knits up really nicely. I think you knit it in the flat and then sew up the seam from memory, I think. Is that right? I think so. And it's made in Aran yarn, so it's not like a super chunky yarn, because my husband didn't want a hat that was really, really cozy. And I made it for him in this nice soft, I think it's an acrylic yarn, I can't remember, but in this sort of nice kind of neutral grey colour. So that is the hat I knitted for my husband. So yeah, I'll link that pattern, a nice free pattern. And then the hat I was wearing is this one here with this cute kind of texture to it. And I made this hat by adapting a pattern that I'd used once before, which is this one here. It's a pattern by All About Amy, and I love her knitting and crochet patterns. I find the instructions are always really great. They're always a lot of fun to follow, and they knit up or crochet up really nicely. And this one is called, I think it's called the Cotton Candy Beanie and Cowl pattern. So you can knit up this cute little beanie hat and also this cowl. I haven't actually tried knitting up the cowl, but yeah, this is the beanie, and it's designed to be knitted up, I think, in super chunky yarn, and I made my first version in super chunky yarn. I still like wearing that hat. And then I had this yarn left over from another project, and I thought it would be just enough for a hat. But this is a chunky yarn, I think, not a super chunky. So I had to adapt the pattern a little bit and use smaller needles and a lot more stitches to make this one. This one's knitted in the round. So you can see it's got the texture like the original pattern, but the original pattern, the texture is much more chunky. But it worked well like this. It just took quite a long time to figure out how many stitches I needed to kind of make it the right size for my head. And then I got on a little faux fur pom-pom that I got from Etsy. If I can find where the company I got this from, I'll link it down below, because I bought a few faux fur pom-poms from. They're really lovely. You just sort of tie them into the hat here. Yeah. So that was the hat I was wearing. It's nice and cozy, but a bit less chunky than the other one with a super chunky yarn. But yeah, I'll link that pattern down below as well, the All About Amy pattern. So yeah, those are the hats that we wore out today. And then I also forgot to mention earlier, my children wanted me to take a picture of them because they are both in handmade clothing today too. So I'll pop up the picture here now. They are both wearing the same patterns on the top and the same patterns on the bottom actually. On the bottom, they both got on a pair of mini Hudson pants by True Bias, both in sort of French terry fabric. As you can see, my son's is just in plain black, which is his preference at the moment. And then my daughter's in pink, and I added the little cuffs and little pocket trims in some leftover French terry I had for another project, just to add a little interest to them, so they're not just plain pink, they've got a bit of detail there. And then both their tops I made using the same t-shirt pattern, which is a free t-shirt pattern for kids that I really like to use. It's the one I always use for them, which is the ABB Kids Tee by DIBY Club. I'll link the pattern down below. There's also a free adults or free ladies, and maybe a free men's pattern for the ABB too. I'm not sure about the men's, definitely the ladies. But it's a really nice basic t-shirt pattern. I find it, I make the regular size, it's like a regular and a slim fit. I find it sits him quite nicely, and my son's wearing his in a Where's Wally cotton jersey. He loves all his Where's Wally cotton jerseys, got in a few colours with different sort of Where's Wally pictures on, as you'll know probably from previous videos. And my daughter's wearing a t-shirt that I made out of some leftover fabric I'd used originally for a pair of pyjamas for her, and I had just enough to squeeze a t-shirt out of it. And it's got a little kitten motif on that I think might have come from Father Christmas a few years ago, a little fluffy kitten that I just ironed on, again to add a little bit of interest. So that is what they've been wearing today. I thought that, particularly for my daughter, she does like to wear dresses and tights, but I thought if we were going out to the churchyard, some joggers would keep her extra cosy. So anyway, they were quite keen for me to share what they were wearing today too from the handmade wardrobe. So that's what they've been wearing today. And then in terms of my plans for the rest of the day, well, I'm going to have an early dinner because this evening I'm heading out to a friend's house, and a few of us are heading there for a bit of a Christmas get together, so it should be really lovely. We're planning to pop on a Christmas movie and have some snacks and just generally catch up. I'm not sure how much we'll end up watching the movie because I'm sure we'll be mostly chatting, but it should be a really nice evening. And I've got a couple of Christmas movies to take along with me to add into the mix in case people fancy watching them. So I've got two of my favourites. I'm going to take along Die Hard, which I love. My husband and I always watch it every Christmas. I love a bit of Bruce. And the second film I'm going to take is another classic, one of my favourites, is Love Actually. So I love that one too. I don't know whether we'll end up watching either, but I'm going to take them along. And yeah, I'm sure we'll have a nice cosy evening in. I don't know whether I'm going to just keep in this jumper because I do feel nice and cozy in it, or whether to change into something a bit more Christmassy like a Christmas jumper. I'm going to have a think about it and decide in a little bit. But I think I'll finish this video off here now because I want to make sure I can get it all edited and uploaded onto YouTube before I head out this evening. So thank you so much for joining me for day 2 of Vlogmas, and I look forward to seeing you again for day 3 tomorrow. So yeah, see you tomorrow. Bye.